She is the mom of 7-time NBA All-Star, former NBA Rookie of the Year, and the 2014 NBA Most Valuable Player. And he says she's the real MVP. I cry every time I hear his speech. I am so honored and humbled to welcome to my show the beautiful Wanda Durant.
Good morning, Wendy. How are you?
I'm great, Wanda. How are you? And thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me, and I'm doing great.
I have to share my little story with you.
Okay.
So Mother's Day weekend, of course, where else would I be? Because I'm a basketball mom. I was at an AAU tournament with my son. And we came home that Sunday from his game. We went out to a quick dinner. We came home, and I turn on the TV, and I go, there's an AAU game on. And my son walks in, he goes, Mom, that's the story of Kevin Durant's mom. So for Mother's Day, we spent the night watching the story of your life. And wow, what a story.
Wow, thank you. That means so much. That warms my heart. Thanks.
I mean, I couldn't imagine watching anything else. Perfect timing, everything about it. And there was so many things that you've said in so many interviews that have really touched me, truly, because I'm a single mom. My son plays basketball. He's probably not going to get to the NBA, but just the same, we're all in this together. And, you've said that the reward is now how they look at you and how much you see, how much they appreciate you and how much they care about you. And isn't that everything?
It is. We put in a lot of long years with our children, and sometimes we don't know if they really get our heart for them. But when they display that they really understand the efforts that we put in, the sacrifices that we make as mothers, it just warms your heart, and there's no greater gift than they get what you were trying to instill in them and the love that you have for them. So it makes me grateful every time.
Every time. And you also say you're just so proud to be their mom. And I always say that to my kids, I'm so lucky to be your mom. Like, I feel so lucky. And, Kevin's a role model for so many kids now, for the role models that he's had. And you've said that Kevin, you just want him to become the man that he would want to look up to. And I always say that about my kids. I hope that you are the person that you want to look up to.
Yes, I think it's important because as a parent, you try to instill the foundation that you have into your children. And what I've realized as a mom of 2 adult sons is that even though I have my foundation and I pour that into them, that I can see now that they're forming their own foundation, and a lot of it is from my influences, and some of it is from the things that they've gathered in their life experiences. And when I see them displaying the character and the integrity and the attributes that I wanted to instill, it makes me proud that they've gotten it, and that they have the responsibility to be the men that God would have them to be, and the men that others can respect and love. And so I'm honored to be their mom because I see that they get it.
Oh, and that's why I feel so like a kindred spirit to you. I feel like so watching your story, although mine's slightly different, but us moms are all the same. We do whatever we can. We don't eat we need to feed our kids. They come first. We're the ones that are doing the laundry and getting them out there and building this for them. And now what has become one of the most famous speeches in sports history. I'm sure you thought, like, okay, Kevin's going to mention me. Of course, I'm his mother. But I was crying with you. When the camera started going from him to you, I was welling up just saying, gosh, I can't imagine your heart so full.
Yes, it did fill my heart because I was thinking about, as he was standing there, I was thinking about my son has worked really hard for this. He worked to get to the NBA, and even after getting there, he continued to work really hard, just as hard as he has worked all his life. And the accomplishments paid off with such an honorable award. And so I was proud of him, and I was happy for him. And I knew, of course, as you mentioned, that he would mention me, but I never thought that it would be to that magnitude, nor did I think some of the things that happened in our lives would be a part of the foundation that he had formed for himself. And so I was really grateful for that. But then when he called me the real MVP. I really lost it. I really couldn't contain my emotions because he was being honored, and then he honored me so publicly. And it just warmed my heart, and as I think about it now, I'm getting
welled up.
Yes, and it brings back the emotion of it. But my sons love me dearly, and I'm just so grateful to have that experience of their love for me.
And I have to say though that the speech all the way through it, it's real. I mean, his heart was so in that. The fact that he could actually voice that and get that out, and you could tell with everything that he is, and that he made his message very clear about everything.
Yes, it was raw. It was really raw and to the bone, and it was straight from the heart. And I think that's why I resonated with so many people, because so many people feel that way about their mothers. And so it was relatable to men and women and the young and the old.
Everyone.
It didn't matter the culture that heard it. It just resonated with so many people.
Amazing. So when they came to you and said, "Oh, we want to do a story about your life," the real MVP, the Wanda Durant story, did you say, "Oh no"? Oh, were you right on board right away?
I was taken aback a little, and I was excited about the opportunity because I didn't take it lightly. And yes, I did say yes right away. I knew that it was an honor to be mentioned, to have a story made about your life. And I look at it as being a representative for moms, not just athletic moms, but moms in general. And I'm honored. And I pray that I've done it, I've honored it in how I've handled myself and how I've carried the torch. There were a few athletic moms before me that had the torch, and I'm just grateful that it was passed to me, and I just pray that I honor it and make them proud. And
I have to say, I say this every time I ever watch a Lifetime movie and have one of the celebrities or stars on that they're talking about, that they're making the movie about. Lifetime does an unbelievable job with their shows, with their movies. They really do.
Yes, and I've been a long time Lifetime viewer, and so
of course, just like me.
Yes, and so I was really grateful that Lifetime had accepted or wanted to be a part of this, and so I was grateful. And it's like Lifetime is one of the biggest networks for women.
Yep.
And so, oh wow, and so, but once I saw the movie and I was a part of the production of the movie, and when I saw it on filming, and then I saw the final take, it was even quite different when I got the DVD of the movie, and I saw it, and it was different, and I was really, really pleased at how well it was captured. The cinematography was great, the crew and the cast was great, and so I was just really grateful how it had come out, and I'm very pleased with it.
From start to finish, the real MVP, the Wanda Durant story on Lifetime. So tell us about your journey as a single mom raising your two boys.
Well, like any other mom, it was a journey that I was unfamiliar with when it started. I didn't plan to become a single mom, but it happened, and I did what I had to do. There were times when I was quite fearful of what to expect. And then when my mom knew that I needed to be stable for myself and my children, assisted me and helped me to move out on my own, and then it was quite scary. But I had the experience of the women in my family, my mom, my grandmother, and my aunt. And so I knew that a mother's heart and love, as long as I had that toward my children, that God would make a way. And I actually said that to God in prayer early on. Help me to keep a heart for my children and help us to make it through. And He's done that. And so I'm grateful to Him for all the help that He's given me. Grateful that through the highs and the lows that I was able to keep it together. And I had help from my family and friends and the guys at the rec center. And so I didn't do it all on my own, but I was the driving force with God's help. And so that's what it was like as a mom, just doing what you had to do for your children to survive and to be successful in their adult life.
And the values and the goals that you instilled in your boys, because I'll say this, although Kevin is an NBA superstar and one of the greatest basketball players of all time, everyone likes him. And the fact that he's a good and kind person, that speaks beyond what a basketball player he is. And I always say to my kids, please just be kind.
Yes, it speaks volumes because those are the things that are lasting. I enjoy seeing my son play the game that he loves so much. But that game is a short span of his lifetime. And so the person who he is and the person that he has become resonates more and has a lasting effect. And so I'm happy and I'm proud of him for adhering to the values and the integrity that he's seen from his family and from me. And so I'm grateful that a lot of people appreciate that about him.
So I read that you actually enrolled the boys in basketball program to build their character and to keep your sons from being off the street, but you never expected this. And I know that you were actually right there because I have the video of you coaching your kids.
Yes. Yes. I initially put them in extracurricular activities because I felt it important to have activity outside of the home and outside of school that they can focus in on. And that would kind of deter their attention from some of the things that, or the ills in our neighborhood that I didn't want them to be a part of. And so I just used
sports and extra activity.
Yes, extra activities for that. And we just focused on that as a family. And when one had a game at one side of town and the other had a game on the other side of town, I would miss the first quarter of one game and catch the fourth quarter of the next game. And that's how we did it. But it was for the values of teamwork and togetherness and learning how to treat people outside of your family with the same love and integrity that you treat your family. And so that was the initial reason for it.
Wanda, isn't it amazing how we can be like, we get it all done. We get it all done. We may not be there for the whole thing, but we can get it done, us moms.
Yes. And you just do what you have to do. And when you have more than one child, you have to kind of burn the candle at both ends. But as a mom, you learn how to do it and it seems seamlessly, and it seems perfectly for your family. So it always works out.
That's right. And was it true that Kevin thought about quitting basketball a few times growing up?
Yes, he did. One time in particular, he was ready to quit, and so he said, I don't want to play anymore. And I said, well, you have to at least finish out the season.
That's right.
And if you don't want to play anymore, that's fine, but you will do something else. And so I suggest taking piano lessons. And he looked at me and he said, well, I'll go back and play basketball. But it wasn't piano lessons wasn't to deter him. It was just to let him know that there will be something outside of the home and outside of school that you will be engaged in. And so just get prepared for something else. That's fine.
Wanda, isn't that the lesson though? You're not going to be home after school sitting around looking to get in trouble or trouble find you.
Exactly.
It's so important for these kids to be in after school activities and to be part of a team and to be more than just about them.
Yes, and I think it's important. That helps them to understand that we're all connected and we're all valuable and we all need to work together to be better at who we are and the things that we aspire to do. And so I'm grateful that I had the foresight to do that for my children. And there were so many dedicated moms that I depended on, and we depended on each other to help us help our children get through those years. And so I'm really grateful to all of them. I have some of them that are still dear friends of mine, and some that we connect on Facebook and social media. And so I'm just grateful for those life experiences because I gained friendship as well. And so, excuse me. So I'm just grateful for all of our experiences through the early years. And I'm grateful that it has led my son both my sons to live out their dreams and for me to be a part of it. And now that they're adults and they're living their lives, now I've moved on to my own aspirations and desires. And so I'm grateful for the opportunity.
And I want to ask you about that. If you just tuned in, I'm talking to Wanda Durant. She's the real MVP, the mom of Kevin Durant. So, Wanda, when times were tough and times were dark,